The Mithraic Mysteries. The Mithraic Mysteries spread rapidly throughout the Roman Empire, especially among soldiers who saw Mithras as a divine protector of justice, strength, and loyalty. Their temples, called Mithraea, were always hidden underground, carved to resemble a cosmic cave. Inside, initiates reenacted the mythic story of Mithras slaying the sacred bull, an act believed to release the life force that fuels creation. Membership required strict discipline, secrecy, and ritual purity. Initiates progressed through 7 ranks, each symbolically connected to a planet: Corax, Mercury; Nymphus, Venus; Miles, Mars; Leo, Jupiter; Perses, Moon; Heliodromus, Sun; and Pater, Saturn. Every level represented a stage of the soul's ascent through the cosmos. Unlike public Roman religion, the Mithraic path focused on personal transformation, the victory of inner light over darkness. Though the cult disappeared after Christianity rose, scholars still see parallels in symbolic meals, moral discipline, and the imagery of spiritual rebirth. The Cult of Isis. The Cult of Isis became one of the most widespread religious movements of the ancient Mediterranean. Originating from Egypt, it spread to Greece, Rome, and beyond. To her followers, Isis was more than a goddess. She was the universal mother, healer, and protector of the vulnerable. Her temples performed dramatic rituals reenacting her search for her husband Osiris, his death at the hands of Set, and his miraculous resurrection. These ceremonies symbolized the eternal triumph of life over death. Initiation into her mysteries involved purification with water, periods of fasting, and nighttime ceremonies meant to awaken the soul. Many Romans viewed Isis as offering something their traditional religion did not: a personal relationship with the divine and a promise of salvation. Her sacred symbols, the knot of Isis, the sistrum rattle, and the lotus, became iconic spiritual emblems for centuries. The Dionysian Architects. The Dionysian Architects were a unique blend of religious order, trade guild, and philosophical school. They honored Dionysus, god of ecstasy, transformation, and sacred creativity, but their reputation came from something unexpected: architecture. They were responsible for constructing many of the great theaters and temples across the Greek world. Their work was not merely engineering. They believed that sacred geometry reflected the structure of the cosmos itself. Building a temple wasn't just construction, it was a spiritual act. They used secret signs of recognition, initiation rites, and hierarchical organization that some historians believe influenced later esoteric groups associated with architecture and symbolism. Their legacy lives on in traditions that connect geometry, spirituality, and craftsmanship as a single sacred science. The Orphic Initiates. Orphism emerged from the legendary figure of Orpheus, the musician who could charm animals, trees, and even the gods of the underworld. His followers believed he possessed secret wisdom about the soul, death, and the afterlife. Orphics taught that the soul was divine but imprisoned in the human body because of ancient cosmic sins. Life was part of a long cycle of reincarnation. To break free, initiates practiced purification, ethical discipline, and meditative rituals. They followed strict dietary rules. Many were vegetarians and avoided behaviors that polluted the soul. Orphic burial tablets made of gold were placed with initiates, inscribed with instructions like, "Tell them, I am a child of earth and starry heaven." Their teachings influenced Pythagoreans, Platonists, early Christian mystics, and Renaissance occultists, making Orphism one of the most philosophically enduring mystery traditions. The Pythagorean Brotherhood. Pythagoras is often remembered for his mathematical theorem, but the Pythagorean Brotherhood was far more than a school of geometry. It was a spiritual order devoted to harmony, discipline, and the mystical power of numbers. They believed the entire universe was structured through numerical relationships: the harmony of music, the motion of the planets, the behavior of the soul. Members lived by strict rules: silence for years at a time, communal living, minimal possessions, and absolute loyalty to the brotherhood. Mathematical discoveries were considered sacred revelations and kept secret among initiates. They believed numbers contained divine truths: 1 as unity, 2 as duality, 3 as harmony, and 10 as the symbol of cosmic perfection. Their combination of science, spirituality, and philosophy helped shape later Hermeticism, alchemy, and Western esoteric traditions. The Cult of Cybele. Cybele, the Great Mother, was worshipped as a primal force of nature, fierce, protective, and overflowing with vitality. Her cult was known for powerful emotional rituals involving drums, dancing, and ecstatic trances. Her priests, the Galli, underwent dramatic rites and dedicated their lives to her service. Their ceremonies symbolized the breakdown of ordinary identity and the emergence of a deeper spiritual self. Despite the intensity of her worship, the Roman state adopted her officially, believing she protected the empire and brought fertility and victory. Cybele's rites emphasized connection to raw nature and the ancient heartbeat of the earth, a form of spirituality that stood apart from more orderly Roman traditions. The Cult of Attis. Attis, the companion and beloved of Cybele, was a god of vegetation whose myth centered around death and resurrection. His story reflected the cycle of the seasons, the decay of autumn, the stillness of winter, and the rebirth of spring. His followers reenacted his myth during a sacred multi-day festival, a day of mourning, a night of frenzy and release, and a final day of joyful resurrection. This cycle carried profound spiritual symbolism, the soul's journey through suffering, transformation, and renewal. Many scholars see echoes of these themes in later religions with concepts of divine sacrifice and rebirth. The Sacred Band of Thebes. The Sacred Band of Thebes was an elite military order, unlike any other in the ancient world. It consisted of 300 warriors, 150 pairs of devoted male companions, bound by loyalty, love, and a shared commitment to defend their city. Their belief was simple and powerful. Soldiers who loved one another would fight with unmatched courage, refusing to abandon their partners on the battlefield. They became the backbone of Theban military power, defeating the Spartans in battles once thought impossible. Their final stand against Macedon turned them into legends, symbols of honor, unity, and the strength of human connection. Though not a religious cult, their structure and philosophy reflected deep spiritual ideals about devotion, courage, and the higher purpose of brotherhood.